1 millisecond range. So 6 years ago, or 6.5 years ago, I was on sabbatical in Berkeley, in California. And I was sitting there and thinking, now I don't have a cell phone with me, sorry, but I was thinking, if I look at the phone, what is this? Yes, if we as human beings communicate, what can we do that is better than what we have already? Is there something completely logical and missing? And it turns out that there is something missing, and I was talking then to physiologists, the psychologists, and then the other people. This is when I hold this device up and I move it. My eyes see this. And my eyes want to see this at a reaction time of 1 millisecond. If it's less than 1 millisecond, you move this, it's awkward. You notice that if you put virtual reality goggles on, then you move your head, and the display moves with more than 1 millisecond delay. You get sick to your stomach. Yes, seasickness is called on the boat. Cyber sickness is what we call it. So really, as human beings, if we move things, we want to see them in a millisecond. So tactile visual interaction speed is 1 millisecond. That's what we need. If we feel it, it turns out we also need a reaction in 1 millisecond. However, if we talk, it's 100 milliseconds. Now let's understand that from biology point of view. So when I talk to you, I'm now 3 meters away. So 3 meters means my voice takes some time to reach your ears because acoustic waves take some time. We know that. That's 10 milliseconds. So that means when we stand 30 meters apart, we still can talk naturally, and that is 100 millisecond latency, 100 millisecond delay. So if we stand on the hallway 30 meters apart, we can talk. You can fall into my words, you can interrupt me, you can start talking, and I interrupt you, let's talk. And this is what today's telephony is based on, 100 millisecond delay. If you have a bad Skype connection, yes, you know that, then you have it takes time, walkie-talkie mode. But 100 milliseconds is good enough. However, if I throw this object to you, it travels at 1 meter per second, at 10 meters per second, sorry. So 1 centimeter per millisecond, you have to catch it within 1 centimeter exactness, otherwise it looks off. And so we have to go from a world where in LTE we have typically 50 milliseconds reaction time over the network, down to 1 millisecond if we want to make the network more human. And if we want to do completely new things. These guys know this, the gamers. They do game parties. Why do they do game parties? Because if they could not touch an object and move it around, but on a screen, they need 10 milliseconds only, not 1 millisecond. But what is the problem? The problem is speed of light is slow. Yes? So why that is, we don't know. Yes. The speed of light is limited to only 300 kilometers per millisecond. Which means that these gamers have to have a reaction time of 10 milliseconds. This is the click and bang interaction. And if you want 10 milliseconds reaction time, you have to be connected with a cable that is less than 3,000 kilometers. You take the electronics of the PC into account, and suddenly we need game parties like this, otherwise it cannot be. So gaming between here and Istanbul is no fun. Let's have a look at this. So we did this experiment exactly with throwing an object, in our case a ball. We took an Oculus, this is my dear friend and colleague Frank Fitzek. We mounted 2 cameras here, and these 2 cameras are displayed into the left and right part. And then we throw a ball, and you see the person has to catch this with the whole body, latency. Now we ramp up the latency to beyond 150 milliseconds, which means what? Yes, more than 1 meter 50 displacement. There you see it, right? That's what happens. Now we take this down to 5 milliseconds, and you see this is the minimum we can do here. And it takes, yes, you catch it, but with 5 centimeter displacement. So that's fascinating for me. Yes, looking at biology, what do we do? At physiology, and then finding out what can we engineers do with it. Which means, let's take this to the one first application where we can live with some latency more than 1 millisecond, but also this interaction is important. Preview and video. It will change the way we do sports events, watch things, anything. Some people, like Sony for example, when they give a 5G talk, they talk about super high definition cameras, high data rates, and I say, so what? Yes? Because here is my camera, I can zoom. I could zoom already with old cameras, not a big deal. But here is another camera. So what if I connected these two cameras to one rendering engine? I can actually take these two camera points of view and calculate the point of view between these 2 points. Anywhere between them, I can so-called interpolate them. This is called digital rendering. Yes? So that means if I take 80,000 cameras, I can say, I want to see the soccer game from this point of view. Boom. Or I can say, I want to see the soccer game from this point of view. This guy. He does not have to carry a GoPro. I just take some cameras around here, connect them to the rendering engine, and off I get exactly the red guy, yes, into my display. I see it on the point of view. Now this is a different level of science. Yes, if you've watched Formula 1 car racing 20 years ago, it was very boring. If you watch it now with the head-mounted cameras, it is exciting. Even more so if you watch downhill mountain biking. Yes, I get sweaty hands if I see them going down there like crazy. Yes, it's really fascinating. And if you say I want to be the ball, then I'm hammered at 200 kilometers per hour over the field. Complete new level of excitement of interest. For this, if I see this in real time, I need about a latency of 10 milliseconds. That gives you an idea, so it doesn't have to be 1 millisecond for everything, because here we're just watching both views. But if I move an object myself, here I'm watching a moving object. If I move an object, it has to be 1 millisecond. Another example.